那你地可能我们不久之后再来跟我们配合。
对啊，那就是等一下。
哎呀，
他公司都在哪里？他开1个小时。
不用吧，
他到这里说
半小时吧。
说了，
这边我们那边通里是市区啊，
他公司在市区。
市区吧？
没有，
那公司在哪里？
郊区吧。
这么多？
我觉得不要说都是附近的房子比较便宜。
他为什么不买？他为什么不买？
So this being an Italian neighborhood, it does have one street called Hanover Street, which most people are curious about. It is a street that has the highest concentration, not just restaurants, but pastry shops and cafes. It's called Hanover Street. It intersects all of that. We are entering a little area, which you'll notice if you look to the left, it's kind of void of any buildings.
真的是很棒啊！
This is empty of any building because at one time, this is where the old elevated expressway used to be. It would have been above us, 5 stories high, made out of green steel and concrete, carrying Interstate 93 from the downtown. Interstate 93 is still here though. But it's underneath us in this huge tunnel called the Central Artery Tunnel. And that is really what the whole Big Dig was all about, the Central Artery Tunnel project. It's the largest, most complex, most expensive public works project in the United States history. We took that elevated expressway, made a whole tunnel system for it. The tunnel we named after the guy who got the money for it, Thomas P. O'Neill. And that area that we were in is called the Rose Fitzgerald Kennedy Greenway. She was the mother of the 35th President of the United States, and she was born in the North End, which was the neighborhood that was really more or less separated from the rest of Boston. We had that ugly expressway running right through town. Now people are invited into the North End, in most cases via a beautiful park. I do say in most cases, because there might have been a little bit of a cost overrun associated with the Big Dig project. Big overrun. And we couldn't finish all the areas that we wanted to the way we wanted to. Coming up on our right is the N.W. Broke Courthouse. N.W. Broke was the first ever elected black man to the United States Senate. He was a Republican from Massachusetts. A lot of people like that Brook, my understanding. Then he got along with fabulous name of Barbara Walters back in the late 60s. Whoa. And a little bit further. This is the Early State Office building. And if you haven't guessed my name, in the 70s, he brought us a lot of great things like disco dancing, red rocks, polyester leader suits, and this fabulous architectural movement called brutalism. That is brutalism. And anybody want to venture to guess what kind of exterior concrete treatment we may call that? I'll give you a big hint. It's named after a very popular fabric in the 1970s. Corduroy, that's correct. Yeah. It's called corduroy concrete. It had to be chiseled also to make it look fuzzy. Corduroy. We're in Bowdoin Square. There is a building to our direct left that has dark windows. It sits on the footprint where the original lab that Alexander Graham Bell was working on a device to help the deaf students be able to communicate better. And by doing so, came upon the invention of the telephone. When they tore down the original building, someone had the foresight to see the significance of his invention and where it was invented, and they photographed the lab and marked up how everything was, and they took apart the lab piece by piece. They were able to put it back together. In the museum that's housed the Innovations and Applications Museum, you can see a statue, a plaque of Alexander Graham Bell right there. Inside the building. Now, if you thought the corduroy concrete building, the Hurley building, was ugly, well, that building on our left, that's all concrete, that is the ugliest building in the world. That's Boston City Hall. In 2008, Yahoo.com did an online readers poll, and it turns out more people voted for Boston City Hall than any other. And at that time, we had this mayor called Thomas Emenino. He was in office, and he was confronted by a reporter when the news came out, asking him, "Mr. Mayor, how do you feel about Boston City Hall being the ugliest building in the world?" And his response was this, and this is word for word: "Yet another reason for people to come to our fair city and see what Boston has to offer to the rest of the world." Thomas Emenino became the longest